name is Kennedy. To many people who know me, I'm what you could call unpredictable. And it's hard to believe 2020 felt uneasy for many all over this planet we call Earth. It has made a lot of people lose their social side, their creativity, and even the willingness to part away than to be opened to finding their passion. Join me and many guests as I talk about what has gotten over my hurdles, my problems, and even topics that many people are having trouble on. Welcome to Stay Strong and Stay Yourselves.
Kindness, trustworthy, energetic, shy, faithful, and dreamer. These words and more are just a couple that many people have said about me in my life. I know I am what many can also call as a giver. The definition of a giver can vary around, but these are the most common of them. A person who gives. A person who characterized by unselfishness. One who gives, a donor or contributor, often used in a combination from a degree. Now, to some listening to this might be very concerned about me due to the fact I do have a spending illness. For those who do not know, I do tend to send, gift, or donate a couple or a lot of money to many forms of charities. Not saying donating to charity is a bad thing at all. However, sometimes it can be such an addiction from my past life of my family. My father does a lot of food catering for many weddings, anniversaries, and parties alike. To my mother, who also is a supporter in many communities around our area, by showing in other educational purposes in both the families around the community as well as the school boards around the area. So with my folks of being givers as well, you can see where it is very easy for me to fall under a giving stage myself. I still understand that this is part of my pride of showing who I am in real life. Many people are not very into sharing their pride much, due to selfish matters like social media, drama, and attention grabbing, which I'll mention in the next episode. Whereas also could be part of a greed of financing of money and fame, basically. However, in my case, the value of $1 is definitely important for us as a society. But there's another side that there is a feeling that it does not be worth as much. I'm not trying to make a pun here, but it's not a price to pay for life. I know many people have said these phrases before. Money doesn't buy the gift of life. Money doesn't grow on trees. Life gives you lemons to make lemonade. And you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it to drink. All of these are pretty common quotes of hardworking, getting to the start of a dream of your goals, or even providing someone with a nice opportunity, but you can't make them take part of what they want to do. For starters, if you tell someone to choose between the red pill or the blue pill, and you offer them to say, choose the red pill, their options are more likely to choose the blue pill. Many of us humans do this a lot. I always tell people a very uncommon conversation when I first meet them in person. Due to the nature of my grammar speaking abilities, some find it funny. Others find it kind of odd. But for myself, it's just normal. It feels like it's my correct speaking language. at least for a dyslexic brain of mine. Let me ask you a simple question. Did you send a letter to your family? Now, you would say I must have said it wrong. Many people right now are probably thinking, did you mean send? As in S-E-N-D, not S-E-N-T. But what if I meant to say sent as in right now? Like, did you send the letter right now? The present, the form of the now. I get time travel is really fast and no one really gave any context of how it was going to be given for a letter of mail, yet simple small changes of language of a simple grammar sentence sometimes contain someone's own personality. Don't believe me? Or think it might be a little crazy? Well, here's another one I want you to try to really pay attention on. And believe me, this is more than just being emotions here. It's true real-life experiences. Have you heard many times of people doing this before? And you yourself, think about your own life as well. By the following. Can I go? May I go? Can I do? May I do? Can I see? May I see? Can we talk? May I talk first before you? All of these cans and mays play a big part in someone's personal lifestyle development. The more you yourself say a lot of the cans in mainly your daily life can let yourself be doubting to your true thoughts and decisions. Similar to the pill decision, when someone says, can I choose the red? You can lead to a self-doubt. And believe me when I say this through from my heart, I have very low confidence in my self-esteem. Even as low as when I was typing the script for the second episode of a podcast, there were times where I wanted to ask others, is this good? Can you check this? Can you please check my grammar? Can you please check my spelling? Did my wording look wrong to you? Can you fix it? Is it good enough? Can it be fixed at all? Should it be fixed at all? However, I refuse to do any of those questions. But why? Because for the past month I decided to do something better for once, where it was only for myself. Because the word can is saying a question, is asking you as an individual, are you capable of? For example, when you were little, many of you may have heard the phrase, can you ride a bike? Many to this day can't. But can you? It's very different in a mental stage and a physical stage. And that's where people did more of the maze or rephrased of a can. Now, I get it. I am only myself, but do not take my words for it, okay? Just try it yourself. Ask yourself more, and ask yourself if you can actually prove that you know you can do many things. Will it take very long? Absolutely it will. Make yourself question before you judge. And pretty soon, after a while, your mind and personality will become more stronger, have more confidence in yourself, and even dependent on your future goals or dreams, and even healthier choices in your lifestyle. I get that most people tend to not follow through with their goals or what they find in life for a purpose. The truth is, there is one. Some may have heard of it recall of this phrase. Instead of saying no, start saying not yet. So what could that mean? Not yet. Not yet of what? Money? House? A relationship? A group of friends? A future job? A pet? A car? The latest video game? A dream? A finals test? A family? What could that be stating? For those examples I gave, those were all in my personal truth. It is all of them, and there can be so much more. I will let you guys to break it down with another story of mine that I do to this day gets to many people, especially close with my family, with my mother and father, as well as real life friends that at once did not realize I had it at all. So bear with this story, and please take it with the grains of salt that many people rarely don't tell stuff like this. Ever since kindergarten, I could only read certain words from time to time, like the word dog, cookie, book, toy, car, just a small list to name a few. That seemed very simple till when I got more into harder words that many of us take for granted. Friday, Wednesday, teacher, listen, care, ignore, question. These are the ones that as a kindergartner I was struggling on. Now, I'm not saying as I got older I spelled them better. It is how I was hearing them being spelled. Like Friday is spelled Friday, but how I heard it was Firday. Similar to another word that we were learning, which was files, Files. The teachers obviously knew from the get-go something was not right. But even as a young age, in kindergarten, it felt normal to me. I get it was funny to listen to this, but it felt nothing was wrong at all. For a very long time till I hit to 5th grade. I already moved to the third school I went to, and to a new house for the 3rd time. I had 0 friends. I didn't know the community as well as I did, both the school and the area. And, of course, around the spring area of my year, we all had no choice but to do the famous spelling bee. For those who do not know what a spelling bee is, the judges give the user a random word out of the common dictionary. The participant has to correctly spell out the word exactly. They can ask for the definition once and use a sentence to help them out speak the word. The person who's done the most words, or the last person standing of everyone else, if they misspell their word, they win the whole tournament. I know you guys, I did not know about you guys, but I hated the spelling bee every time. I know now I could try to have some fun and enjoy myself, but past me hated it due to the fact that many of the students there knew I was bad on spelling on paper and spelling verbally due to my stuttering and my dyslexia brain. They used it as a bullying method and a way to do many pranks on me, both mentally and physically. After around the third round, it was my turn. I go up to the podium, and the judges says for my word, success. I asked for a sentence and knew it was the right wording, so I slowly, step by step, listened for each letter of the word. S-U-C-E-S-S. Of course, that was wrong, and I was missing another C in the word. I wasn't too ashamed of it, but the next day was truly the worst for me. Around 8 o'clock, I go to my locker and find a note with the same spelling mistake I did from the spelling bee, right on my locker. I decided to give it to my closest teacher and asked to report to it, because it did hurt my feelings a little bit. The teacher thanked me for the note and said to not worry about it much of it for the rest of the day, but that wasn't going to happen. As around lunchtime and the day continued onward, a group of 6th graders saw me doing my easy math homework on equations and algebra. They asked if I was having an okay day until one of the students decided to write on my paper the same spelling of success. Exact wording. I didn't want to speak out of it because A, I would be starting a fight in my math class when the teacher was looking right at us. And B, this kid decided they were already in trouble anyway from our science class for throwing a glass beaker into the sink and breaking it. Yeah, this kid had some serious anger issues for sure, so I just ignored this kid and continued on with my math homework paper. By the time reading and writing class came, let's just say the same kid and I were both in the principal's office. And at the end of the day, due to the fact not only were we yelling at each other across the room, but also we did eventually get physical with some punches face to face. By the end of the day, my mother, who at the time was the principal, asked if I was doing good, and I wasn't. I was so sad and mad about the whole system of not knowing how to spell right or proper grammar, yet that all changed for me exactly 3 years later on. December 13th, 2013. Time of the day, 10:03 a.m. High school, as a sophomore. The finals were happening at my high school, now that I did move on to a new school itself as well as a new middle school. I already finished my math, my science, and history finals. But the hardest one was coming to me, my English final. I was given what was called a special testing area, where I can ask the teacher to read them out loud while also giving them a vocal answers instead of having to write them down. My time is only a max for an hour long to finish all my final testing, or if I missed any other questions along with it. It is only myself and the teacher, and no, I could not cheat with any other notes. I had to give a verbal language so that way they could write down the notes for each of those questions. On the normal schedule base, I was slowly taking my time and remembering all that I knew from the word of context to even the spelling words we needed to spell out, to even ending off with the novel book we picked out and then had to write through the semester of how the book ended. We had only 45 minutes in that class, and all the other students finished it all. I did what I already knew ahead of the time, and then the bell rang for the rest of the students to head back home. I had no choice, but I had to hand in my paper as well, just like the others. I went back to my locker, grabbed my backpack, and went back into the same classroom to finish the rest and wait for that long hours to finish at least the rest of it till noon. I kept working on and on until finally I look up at the clock to see it's 11:10 a.m. Around that time, students would already be at their homes, but I couldn't. I still had to wait for my mother to pick me up anyways. So I took a deep breath and continued to finish my English final test. By the time I finished fully, it was 11:15 a.m. I deeply knew I was over an hour from my class, but the teacher gave me an extra few more minutes, not because I was dyslexic, but rather saw something incredible happen. Fast forward again to the spring of 2014, in March, where we got our test, and to myself, too, I got an A+ out of my 18 classmates. In total, there were 19 of us, and somehow I was the only one with an A+. Granted, some of the other students had A's, A-, and mostly B's or even B+. But clearly, a 100% score was too real to be true. After class, I asked the teacher if it was a mistake or if this was just pity for me. The teacher gave no to an answer and decided to share something so incredible that to this day proves that I did have a good purpose inside all of me all along. The teacher showed me my growth in my reading and writing levels. When I first moved to the middle school, I was only at a reading level of 2nd grade as a 6th grader. But when I was a sophomore, I'd grown up to a full 12th grader reading level, and for writing level, also a 12th grade writing level. I couldn't believe I was not only met my own class reading level, but I went even beyond, similar to my math skills I did before. I did naturally work hard on my homework, of course, but rarely I wanted to be an A+ student. Even my own folks rarely cared to do my best, not for the A's, but what I can do, and mattering of fact of knowing I had the confidence to do it. I was fully known of the process of work, but instead of thinking of my own classmates and judging them for their grades, I was only thinking of my own competitive selfishness. I was competing against my other scores and myself instead. And now we start here, the present. 8 years later, and I'm writing 2 scripts, still doing a really amazing, great job of it. So the phrase, "not yet," can happen to anyone. If it happens to me, then surely it will happen to you. Yes, you, listening to this. I get we live in the world of the now, which is good, but sometimes a step back or a longer process still needs to be in a play of this thing we call life. Getting those lemons is very hard enough for anyone, and anytime I try to spell the word success, that is SUCCESS, or even some that may take longer than others, when it comes to test taking or math equations or anything, the truth be told, that most, if not all of us, will find our own balance in ourselves whenever we find our purpose in a pride moment, or I hope you can all at least learn from this from now on, the present. For a daily activity, I want anyone to go ahead and grab a notebook, paper, or a place to keep your personal typing or writing along just like the last episode, make sure you keep your personal adjectives to yourself. The second step is now to find your 3 P's. The pride in your life, the purpose in your life, lastly, the present in your life. This one will be very hard, believe me. Both my present and purpose sound too closely together, and that is in a good way. However, if you may, try really hard to make it separate, as much as you need. Even if it's only single words, at the very most you did something for you, not for anybody else. The next episode will talk about social media drama and conversations around the world. I hope to see you guys around, and remember to stay strong and see our stars. Thank you for listening.